And then another thing I like to say, I'm really proud of our group, and not just in terms of its internationalist bent and its multi-ethnic bent, if you will, but also in terms of the gender representation. We have a
Okay.
seven-member ensemble, and four men and three women. So it's not very many groups can boast that.
Right. Well, that's good to hear. I wanted to just talk a little bit about the political part, how you guys are musicians as well as activists. And, maybe both of you can tell our viewers, how important that is. What made you decide to be a little bit more political than a little bit more bling bling and, media and all that stuff. So,
I don't think we had a choice. Raymond founded it in a certain way, so I'll just briefly say that I was attracted to being able to really see the effect of art immediately. I also come from a visual art background, and trying to get my work out and be part of a community, it was more of a solo show that you would try to present, and you didn't often get as much opportunity to interact with people and work collaboratively. And then I found out that's one of my true loves, and I had an early theater background, so I drew on that to be part of what Raymond's was already doing. And having a political mom helped, and it just felt like you got to do your politics and bring your art in with that at the same time.
And the thing I quote Paul Robeson, where he says the artist has a choice, either freedom or slavery, and for him there was no alternative. And I would agree with that. That when I look at my community, the African American community primarily, I mean, I'm part of the world community, but my experience is rooted in the African American community, and I see the ills and the issues and the problems that confront it on a daily basis. And to create art that is pouring fuel on the fire, it's just like, it's no way to justify it. On the other hand, to even create art that kind of ignores it and is escapist also is problematic to me. I think you have to just jump in the fray, and I think as artists, we have a way of reaching people's hearts. And sometimes when you can open that heart just a little bit, just open the little crack in it, and then you could get in there and implant a powerful seed. Sometimes the arguments we've heard all the statistics and the arguments for different things or against different things, and we become a little bit jaded. But sometimes if you could just subtly reach people's hearts, then you set them on a different path. There's that potential anyway.
I wanted to ask, since you guys have been working with music for so long, how do you think? I'm sure you've heard how people say, children who play an instrument, and are involved in some kind of musical activity, a lot of times do better in their other activities of their life. Like, how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that's true? Do you think?
Well, I definitely believe that being creative and being allowed to express your intelligence in a creative manner sustains you in so many ways. One of the slogans when I first got out here, a small part of the art community, was "Art saves lives." That was a thing going around, and I remember really, I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it with younger people when they get a chance to express themselves and put their passion into a creative way that's really unique to them and their voice, and you honor each person's voice. I think that's really about survival, and actually how we remember culture throughout history is from the products of their art. We find pottery, we find drawings on the cave, we have theater that goes way back in dance and drum and rhythm, and that's what survives.
I think one thing I would add also as well is that art also teaches you as a child about problem solving, and in some cases collaboration. And the problem solving is that in the context of failure, because in art, if you practice an instrument, and I'm not an instrumentalist, I'm a poet, but because we work around musicians all the time, I get a chance to see what it takes for them to develop their craft. There's a certain amount of failure involved. You're trying to reach for something and you don't get it immediately. You have to keep trying. And so that's an important lesson, I think, to impart to young people early on, that there is trial and error and that you do fail. Like in baseball, for example, you can go to the Hall of Fame failing 3 times out of 10. I mean, succeeding only 3 times out of 10.